Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. I'm your host, Michael Weaver. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing what I learned in my surf lesson in Newport, Oregon with a surf pro. All right. So, and some of you right now are like, Michael, what does a surf lesson have anything to do with business, with life? And that's what I'm going to bring to the table today, my friends. And look, I know that not everything in life has to be a lesson. Like I could have just went out, took a surf lesson, had a good old time, which I did. But I'm just that type of person that I try to gain or learn something from every situation. And let's face it, it was a surf lesson. So it has the word lesson in there. So maybe there's something to be learned besides just surfing. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. If this is the morning, I hope you grab your cup of coffee. If this is the evening, maybe you grab an alcoholic beverage. Maybe you grab some H2O. Either way, we're going to be getting buzzed on the buzz today. And I'm super, super stoked about today's episode. So let's just get right into it. So first, I want to walk you through the surf lesson. All right. Now, what I did not learn, let's first think about what I did not learn. What I did not learn was how to do cool tricks on a surfboard, how to surf backwards like my instructor could do. I don't know, all kinds of the fun stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And the reason why I want to address that first is because in business, and you all know what you're about to get what I'm about to catch what I'm throwing here. So many times, business owners, your friends, your peers, they're always looking for that what? For that magic bullet. You know what I'm talking about? That secret sauce. That secret sauce. Oh man. How can my team produce more? How can my team produce more as fast as quick as possible? How can I invest as little as possible, or maybe nothing at all, and learn this grand plan that's then just going to take my agency to the next level? Y'all know what I'm talking about here. Chasing that shiny little rock, that secret sauce, that magic bullet. Okay. Why I bring that up is because this surf pro, he took me through the ringer, guys. He was a good coach. He was a coach. And so we started off on the beach. All right. We started off on the beach. He made me draw a surfboard on the beach. And then I lay down on the surfboard. And the first thing he has me do is I'm pretty much doing up downs, burpees. All right, Michael. So practice your up downs. Make sure you can jump up. Your feet are the right width apart, and just get used to that motion. So I did that probably 20, 30, 40, 50 times, quite a few times, honestly. Kind of got out of breath. It showed me how out of shape I am. But anyways, I did that. And then what we do? We sit for 5 to 10 minutes and we watched the waves. And that's all we did for 5 to 10 minutes. And he just taught, he walked me through. Okay, you see that break right there? Okay, which direction are the waves going on this side? Which waves are the direction going on that side? Okay, now do you see there's no really waves in that side and there's a current that goes up? That's what we call riptide. So a surfer, first you have to learn how to read the waves. You got to become one with the water. You have to become one with your board. You have to become one with the wave. Okay. Then you have to figure out, okay, so if this is the current, if these are the waves, where are the waves breaking? Where are the waves breaking on a consistent basis? And I may not be using the right verbiage here, my friend. So if there's any big time surfers out there listening to this, if I say something that's just not correct, you know what? I apologize. I'm not a surf pro here. I'm a business pro. I'm a sales pro, but I'm going to get to it. So bam, we study for 10 minutes. And then we go out into the water. So we're about 20, 30 minutes into this right now. And I haven't even stepped a foot into the water yet. And so what do we do when we get into the water? Well, we're going to practice our paddling. So we lay down on the board. I start practicing my paddling. Practice, 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 practice. Okay. And then he's like, okay, let's go get in I believe it's called a riptide. And the riptide is going to take us out into the ocean. You're not going to have to work that hard. But when I say break, you're going to break to the left and you're going to paddle like hell, like it's a 40-yard dash. Because if you don't get out of the riptide, it's going to take you out into the middle of the ocean. And we're going to have to call some choppers, some Coast Guard, and they're going to have to come save you. And well, I don't want to be saved today. I don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the ocean. I don't want to be shark bait. So I'm going to paddle extremely hard. So bam, you paddle, 40-yard dash, paddle, 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 paddle strong, paddle strong. Okay, now you're out into the ocean with the waves. Now you have to figure out how to sit on the board. And I know that sitting on the board may not be as difficult as what you may think it is. I'm telling you right now, that was probably the most difficult part for me personally, was learning how to balance myself on this 6-7 foot surfboard in the water with moving waves. And these waves were not little. I mean, we're talking about 4 or 5 foot waves, which I know are not huge waves, but for me, some guy from the Midwest that has no ocean around them, 4 and 5 foot waves are big waves. And I got to figure out how to balance myself on the board. So I'm fighting the board. I'm fighting the water. I'm getting exhausted. Well, then all of a sudden this perfect wave starts coming in. And so what do? He goes, all right, turn your board and start swimming. And when you feel it give you like a big push, that's when you're going to push up and stand up. All right, deal. Bam, we're up. All right. And so this lesson lasted for 2 hours. At the end of the day, I was exhausted. I could only last about an hour, hour and a half, as I was physically drained. So I wanted to walk you through that entire story to get to where what I learned during that lesson equates over to my professional life that I think can also help you, and why I wanted to talk about this today. So, and if you're ever in Newport and you want to take surf lessons, the name of the shop was Surf Shop. Highly recommend checking it out. The guy was absolutely amazing. So what I learned that day is everything you do in life, and especially in business and especially in sales, has to do with fundamentals on a daily basis. All right. So what can you do on a daily basis from a fundamental standpoint? Because that's really what it takes. It's not the secret sauce. It's not the magic bullets. It's not expecting to get something for free that's going to change your life or change your career. Now, I hope that this episode does change your life. I hope this episode does change your career. That's why I show up and do this. This is why we created the Insurance Buzz, is to give as much free value as possible. But a lot of times you're going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to invest in your team. You're going to have to invest in your business to see any change. And then you got to do something with the investment. All right. You got to do something with the investment. You got to take action. It's just not like you invest and things change. The only way things change is if you change. So it's a different podcast for a different day. So fundamentals. I learned how to paddle. I learned how to read the waves. I learned how to use the riptide as your friend. I learned how to balance on the board and wait patiently for the right wave. And then I learned how to stand up on the board and surf. Now, I'm not a good surfer by any means, but I did surf. I actually got up on the board twice, so not too bad that day. And how this relates to business is success is all about the fundamentals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. It's not knowing how to do the fancy stuff. It's not understanding or knowing how to overcome that objection that you hear once in a blue moon or once out of 1,000 conversations. That's not what is going to take your life and your business to the next level. What's going to help take your life and your business to the next level are the disciplined habits, the disciplined fundamentals you do on a daily basis as an individual and business owner. That is what's going to take your life to the next level. It's not learning how to ride a surfboard backwards. It's learning how to have a strong paddle, how to wait patiently for the right wave, how to read the water. It's the same thing in business. It's not about, again, how to overcome that objection that you hear once in a freaking 1,000 conversations. It's what activities does it take to be successful on a daily basis? Are you training on a daily basis? Are you growing? Are you developing? Are you doing things that bring you joy? I'm talking about these kinds of fundamentals that you have complete control over. It's like Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. Now, I know that some people are going to debate that, but let's be real, right? All right. I'm not even a big basketball fan, but MJ, that dude played with so much passion. And then I'm going to go with Kobe in second place, but this is also a conversation for a different day. But back to Michael Jordan. What did MJ do? I read this. MJ started every practice off with 100 chest passes. Michael Jordan, the best basketball player of all time, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, every practice, he started off with 100 chest passes. He didn't start off with shooting the ball. He started off with 100 chest passes. Now, why would he do that? And someone asked him. And do you know what his answer was? Because he passes way more in a game than he will ever shoot. Now, I hope that rings true to you in your day, because in sales, what you don't want to do is your first conversation of the day to be with a prospect or customer. You want your first conversation of the day to be with your teammates. You don't want to practice on prospects and customers. You want to practice with your team. You want to practice with your agent. You want to practice with your spouse. You want to practice with yourself in the mirror. So many times I hear, Michael, I'm not hitting my production goals, or I'm not hitting my life, or Michael, we're really, really struggling in this. Well, how often are you practicing? How often are you practicing? Most people want to play more than they ever practice, where everything else in life, everything, doesn't matter if you're talking sports, if you're talking musicians, artists, it doesn't matter. You practice way more than you play. NFL teams, they put in what, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week for 3 hours of game time, which is actually like 60 minutes. Like, come on, man. Like 1 hour, you put in all these hours for 1 hour of performance. Yet in our industry, in the insurance industry, people think, oh, I don't need to practice. Michael, I've got this figured out. Thank you so much for teaching me that conversation. Thank you so much for teaching me those activities. I think I got it now. I don't need any more practice. I'm just going to go play the game all the time now. And what happens? What happens when you quit practicing? What happens when you quit trying to get better? You start going downhill, because that's just it, friends. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no middle ground in life. You're either continuing to develop, you're continuing to grow, you're holding yourself accountable, you're holding your teams accountable, or you're not. Or you're not. And the best thing about all this is you're in complete control. It's all about doing the fundamental things every single day. So, practicing pieces of the PNC sales conversation. Practicing overcoming those common objections you get when making a cold call, or going into the close, or bringing up life insurance to a prospect. It's about making the dials. It's about perfecting that conversation. And here's the best part. It doesn't take a lot of time. 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes of practice a day. If there's one thing I've learned from the greats, not only in the insurance industry, but any really successful person I've talked to, doesn't matter in business, life, athletes, it's that they're disciplined with doing the fundamentals on a daily basis. It does not matter how talented you are. If you're not willing to be disciplined to those things that you know you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you're nothing. Like, you're not going to see any of the success you talk about. You're not going to achieve those goals you talk about. You're not going to get that time freedom and flexibility like you talk about. You're not going to get the production like you want and talk about. You're not going to get those bonuses like you talk about and like you have planned. But it all comes back to today, and it all comes back to you with intentional action and concentrating on those fundamentals. You want to have a great relationship with your spouse? You better start dedicating intentional hours to your family and your spouse. Communication. You want to have a great relationship with your kids? You better start putting some effort toward your kids and some of those fundamental things you need to do to build that relationship. You want to have an amazing business? Start concentrating on those fundamentals that help you perfect your craft as a business owner, as an agency owner, as a sales professional. And then once you do invest and you start doing that, you don't stop investing. You don't stop dedicating the time. You don't stop doing it. You do what works. And when you figure out what works, you don't try to reinvent the wheel. You just adapt and make small changes along the way. Because at the end of the day, those fundamentals are what got you here, and they will continue to get you where you want to go. But you got to continue to do them. That's the biggest thing I see people. They figure it out, and all of a sudden they get lazy again. They get undisciplined. They quit training. They quit practicing. They quit role playing. They quit meeting with customers. It works so well, you quit doing it. You feel me there? So I hope today was beneficial. I hope that you got something from today. If this rings true, if you can resonate with any of this, please share the podcast. Please give us a 5-star review. It would mean the world to me. I absolutely love what I do here on the Insurance Buzz. And obviously, if y'all are looking to take your businesses to the next level and your lives, that's what we're all about at Weaver Sales Academy. We are concentrated on both personal and professional growth and growing a community of like-minded individuals that are focused on just that. You don't have to do this thing alone. You don't have to do this agency ownership alone, this business ownership. If you try to do it alone, it can really become like you're on your own island. And so we'd love to have you part of the Weaver Sales Academy family. If you've never checked out Weaver Sales Academy, take time out of the equation, get a hold of us. Let's get a time on the calendar. So other than that, my friends, let me know what you thought about this episode. Check out the text community. I'd love to know your thoughts. Other than that, time is the most valuable and important asset that we all have. I appreciate you all spending the last few minutes with me. Now you know what to do. Go out, take action, make it happen, my friends. I will talk to you soon.